The problem is I want to be able to present my portfolio in a way that gives me regular clients. It's easy to say, oh, I want quality clients, but
Hmm.
just a regular that keeps regular interest in my work.
What's up, creatives? My name is John, aka The Design Guy, and I'm back reviewing another one of your portfolio websites. This is a one-on-one portfolio review that I did with a photographer named Lucy from Nairobi. Lucy has some amazing work, and the quality of her photos are absolutely beautiful. But Lucy was having trouble marketing herself and her portfolio so that clients actually understood how they can work with her. During this one-on-one portfolio review, we go over how you can pitch potential new clients your own ideas, developing a strategy to network with new clients, and how to better align your portfolio website and your social media presence. If you're a designer, photographer, creator, or anyone that has a portfolio website and you'd like to have your portfolio reviewed just like this, then definitely check out the link in the description below. And with that, let's get to the review.
So I started off as a food writer, moved into food photography and food styling. Started off with a WordPress website that was supposed to be my online portfolio, and I've been doing it since 2020. So I used that for some time, moved to Squarespace, and I feel like in these 3, 4 years, I've just been bouncing between different websites, different ways to present my portfolio, but not really feeling like it's doing what it needs to do. Like it's not really presenting the work I do and the work I want to keep doing. Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. Why do you feel that way? What's going on that makes you feel that?
I guess I haven't had anyone, or maybe it's just dealing with clients. It can be like most recently, I had a client look at my Instagram and immediately assume that, oh, you do social media management. It's like, what? No. So I sent them my website and they're like, oh, so you just take pictures of the food. And I'm trying to get to communicate more. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. I don't think this is a portfolio problem. Not to say that we're not going to talk about this, but your portfolio,
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're a photographer once, one of few photographers that I've spoken to, but your work is gorgeous. Like, let's take a look really quick. Like, you have great
Thank you.
quality. I love this Le Creuset. Like, I actually have that exact pot. So I love,
Oh,
but the quality, the
lucky you.
lighting, like, you definitely know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So what you're saying is this is a problem with quote unquote how you're marketing yourself or how you're presenting
Yeah.
your work, right?
Yeah.
Just clicked on your Instagram,
Yeah.
and the person that contacted you that thought maybe you're doing social media management might be an idiot. You know, it says right in the top in your bio, food,
Literally.
photography, videography, and
Yeah.
writing. So might not be the brightest person. I'll say it.
Literally.
Like, you don't have to say it. I'll say it. What is like your current working situation? Are you working with clients? Like how, like like give me a little bit more color on this because I think like, your portfolio is there. As a photographer,
Mhm.
like this is what I would expect to see. And I have a few assumptions, but give me a little bit more idea of like what's going on.
With how I'm working right now, I'm 100% freelance,
Hmm.
but I do take on a few short-term contracts during the year just to, keep the lights on. I was doing a short-term contract last year, but after that, I was like, no, I want to go back because I started freelance, want to go back fully into freelance. Am I answering the question? What was the question again?
You're currently freelance. You every now
Yeah,
and again work with like a
work with,
company
yeah,
short term.
that
Are you
needs, yeah.
booked? Are you kind of like, is it frequent? Is it not so frequent in terms of projects that come in and stuff like that?
Mm, it's almost like a roller coaster because like right now I'm not booked, and then between March and May I usually have an influx of clients, and then at least for that period I can say at least I'm booked every week, and I'm editing something every week, I'm shooting something every week, and then I have another lull after that, and then now towards the end of the year between September and November I'm shooting again. So that's how
Okay.
it ebbs and flows.
How long have you been independent, like freelancing and stuff?
Since 2020.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you do in those low times?
I pick up personal projects
Awesome.
and I use those personal projects to pitch to new clients. So then that helps now with the pickup. Again, now those are either the clients who I pitched in this first period of the year or the ones I pitched in between the year. They just kind of show up.
Okay, so now that you told me all of this, what is the problem? Is it that you're
Um,
not getting enough work? Is it that the people that are reaching out to you are just like you know, like we said, idiots, and like it's just not it's not working out for you? What's the problem exactly?
The problem is I want to be able to present my portfolio in a way that gives me regular clients, in a way that gives me, I don't know, it's easy to say, oh, I want quality clients, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, just a regular that keeps regular interest in my work. Because I spend a lot of time looking at other photographers' websites, Instagrams, everything, wherever they put their work. And I don't know, sometimes it feels like their presentation or the way they put together their portfolio, the way they put together their social media is a little bit different from mine, and it communicates something different. Like I don't want to be looked at as an influencer, a food influencer. I want people to
Mm-hmm.
look at either my website or my portfolio and know, okay, this is somebody we're giving.
Hey, if you're enjoying this portfolio review and you feel like you've already learned something that you can implement on your own portfolio website, then go ahead and comment portfolio upgrade on this video. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
We're either
Who
giving
would you
like,
like to work with? Best case scenario, you're the most successful version of you. Who would you like your
yeah,
clients?
food magazines.
Okay. Do you know any brands? Any big brands that stand out?
Oh man, I've been trying to teach Bon Appetit for like 2 years now.
Bon Appetit. Interesting.
Oh my
Okay, so let's
goodness.
just go with that.
Yeah.
Let's just say Bon Appetit, right?
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Let's look at it like that, right? You want to present your work in
Okay.
a way that Bon Appetit gets you, like recognizes you or like wants to have
Yeah,
a conversation with you, right? How do we do that?
yeah.
I think my first kind of thing was like you said you're pitching projects. Are you doing much outreach besides like how many pitches are you throwing out there? Like who are you reaching out to? Like what are you doing in regards to building relationships? Because again, I think like we could probably talk about how you're presenting yourself on, you know, social media, sure, but
Mm-hmm.
also like kind of said like what you're showing on your portfolio is like what I would want to see from someone who is a photographer in food, right?
Yeah.
So, like, what are you doing in regards to reaching out and building connections?
That's a really good question because I feel like I usually read the guidelines of the people that I want to pitch to. And then from there, I use that as a guideline. So if they say pitch a story, don't pitch a general thing. I do some research, pitch that story, and then hope for the best after that. If I do get, sometimes you get rejections back, sometimes you get nothing. When I do get a rejection back, I usually ask for feedback. Was it the topic? Was it the way it was presented? Did I try to do too much? Did I just pitch the photography, collaborate with a writer for the rest of the stuff? So that's what I usually do. I did get a bit slow last year. I didn't do as much pitching last year. But then last year was when I had my back-to-back contracts, so it kept me nice and busy.
Hey, if you're finding this video helpful, don't just stare. Subscribe. Please.
If I'm thinking about how I'd want to pitch, if I'm a photographer and I'd want to pitch
Mm-hmm.
something to Bon Appetit, that doesn't happen immediately necessarily. But if I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
about the project that I want to pitch to them, that would be interesting. Again, knowing just that you're from Nairobi, I'm sure there's a very interesting and rich food scene there. That's somewhere like I'd go. You know, I'd want to
Yeah.
kind of pitch this idea of like the summer foods of Nairobi or why you should visit Nairobi. The food scene's amazing, something like this, right? Aside from that, it doesn't sound like you don't sound super confident when I ask like, what are you doing to build client relationships, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like that's going to be a big thing for you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you already
Mm-hmm.
have, it sounds like you already have a network of clients that you work with in your area and stuff. And
Yeah.
now it's time to sort of branch out. You have a vision of working with bigger brands and bigger magazines. How do we start making those connections? So perhaps it's reaching out to the writers of these, you know, media companies that might be online or connecting with other photographers that have worked for those brands and things like that. Very much how like you've reached out to me, and this is sort of like the side effect of a portfolio review like this. Like now, like I know if I ever need a food photographer for a project of a client of mine, I'll probably reach out to you or someone else that I might know in my network, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing happens where if you were, it could happen, and it's not, doesn't always happen, you know, obviously, but like say you start reaching out to other photographers through ways of social media or whatever that have worked for those brands, and you say, hey, listen, like
Mm-hmm.
I really admire your work. I'd love to get to a point of like your level. Would you mind taking a look at like my work and maybe giving me some pointers? Like that starts the conversation, that starts the beginning of a relationship. And you know, you could learn a lot more. Obviously, I'm a graphic designer.
Yeah.
I look at your work and I say, it's great quality. You know, I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
someone who does this is going to tell you what to look for and what to maybe think about in different ways. And so that's I kind of think like this is more of like a what are you doing to build the relationships that are going to get you to that next level? Because I can't really say much about like I love this, you know, I love a Lake Crusette on
Right.
a nice contrasty backdrop with some green complementing the red and stuff like I love that stuff. The lighting on this is beautiful, you know, on this crumble. But at some point our skill is going to kind of tap out at the ceiling. It's going to start tapping that
Yeah.
ceiling. And I
Yeah.
think like very much as a graphic designer, I've said this, I realized probably 5 years after I graduated university, that was it for me in terms of skill, you know, like I could figure out how to like
Yeah.
make any sort of Photoshop tutorial or effect or whatever. Maybe I learned a new program like Figma or Sketch or something like this. The thing that I was going to learn next that was going to get me to the next level is like business and like being
Mm-hmm.
able to talk to clients in a way where they understand design and appreciate it and not so much look at it just as a service. And so like
Yeah.
that I think is where you might be hitting on, especially as a freelancer, especially as someone who wants to continue doing this independently. You're going to have to kind of put yourself in that role now of I'm not only a photographer and a creative person, I'm a business owner or I run a
Mm-hmm.
business. And so the way businesses continue to run and succeed are by the clients that they live and die by and making
Yeah.
sure that you are getting new clients and reaching out and having conversations. You know, I'm working out of a co-work now where I talk to a lot of interesting people and I'm genuinely curious about what they're working on, right? Because I see them every day.
Mm-hmm.
They either look anxious or stressed or whatever. And I just go over and I say, hey, listen, I mean, I just ask them, like, what are you working on today? You know, I see you here all
Mm-hmm.
the time. And, you know, it may not turn into like an immediate client or anything like that, but they know just by my curiosity that like I'm interested in what they're doing. And if they have a question, they can ask me. And if they ever see an opportunity to work together, maybe they want to work with me. You know, I seem like an okay guy during that conversation. So why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's something to think about. Let's talk about, I'm going to pause there. Any questions on that?
No, I feel like you're literally, it's a point that's been bugging me for the last year. Because I think this is like the third website structure that I changed. I kept revamping and revamping and revamping. And I was just like, why? What am I looking for? And I think you said it really, really well. Skill level, I've been studying, I've been doing everything, been improving, hit a ceiling. And now I feel like I'm trying to figure out what the next step is, but you've put it so well, really, really
Yeah,
well.
I mean, listen, it's lovely to share. I would say like the quality of your work on your website seems to differ a little bit in
Yeah.
the ways how you present it on social media. This seems like more food videography stuff
Well, that
and
was me trying to
perhaps
put out more videography because I hadn't. I would say I'm a
sure.
videographer, but I don't share.
If you had
So,
like it's the same thing with graphic designers, right? You're a graphic designer.
mm-hmm,
I find a lot of graphic designers like branding. Within
mm-hmm,
branding, right? This is like a thing that I hit on all the time. Since you like branding, that means that you can create a logo, you can create a poster, you can create this, that, and the other thing. And so what happens is I
mm-hmm.
start to separate it out of like, here's all my logo designs, here's all my this designs. These
Yeah,
are smaller problems within a bigger bucket of a problem. It's like a bigger problem to solve when someone comes to you and say, like, I really want to create a brand versus like, I'm just starting a business and I need a logo. You
yeah.
see this, there's like a size difference
Those are
in
two
terms
different.
of that
Yeah.
problem. This sort of kind of sounds like what I'm seeing with you as a photographer. I have a
Mm-hmm.
camera. I prefer doing photography, but
Yeah.
I can also do videography, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like if you had, I don't want to say if you had to choose one because I get it. Listen, everyone's got to work and you got to make use of what you got. But if you
Yeah.
had to choose one, and I think this is very still like very valid of like, yes, you can do those things. You don't need to
Mm-hmm.
lead with those things. You don't need to include
Mm-hmm.
it. If it is that you want to work with Bon Appetit or whatever other brand on a big like food, you know, project or campaign or whatever, are they more likely to hire you for as a photographer or are they more likely to hire you as a videographer, right? And so
Yeah.
think about that. And I think when in terms of social media, like I get you're trying to make more video content and that's like a thing on social platforms and pushing video content and stuff. But like again, can we alter how we present our photos so that it would jive with the video algorithms, shall we say, right? Can you show this quality of work in a way that could work for video, like in a slideshow? Maybe it's a series of burgers, you know? Like maybe it's a series of mini green, maybe it's sexy bars, you know, like let's not worry about social media tells us that they want us to post more videos. This quality of work, all of this stuff is sort of is different from what you're actually posting, right? And so some ideas I started to walk through is like, okay, cool. Instead of trying to make content with like, oh, I gotta go make video content, like it feels like you're kind of learning a new skill. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to go out and try this new thing that you actually maybe not most into.
Yeah.
Instead, can we make the work that we are passionate about work for platforms, right? Like, and I know that in a way, like saying that out loud makes it sound really weird, but like you have burgers. Can we like make a reel that's kind of like a photo slideshow to some trendy song and do a series of burgers? Can we do like a series of mini greens and how cute they are? Can you do a series of like sexy bars that you photographed or something? You can make this stuff work. This is beautiful work. You can make it work for social media in a way that will help you versus like make it more difficult. And I'm trying to not make it seem like, okay, now we have to appease the social media gods. But for example, like it takes me 5 minutes to like have my phone like right next to my screen and like take a couple of video clips of like a new website that I just published for a client, right? That's fine. That's not a lot. That's like a low effort thing. And if I do it right, maybe it'll get like some attention, whatever. Because I believe that graphic design is more than just the images or visual assets that I produce. I rather go make a video where I'm talking about the problems and explaining how we solve them. Sure, I'll throw in some numbers there because that seems to work on social media, whatever. But like, I'm not going to go bend over backwards to go make some like super social, trendy, viral-esque video to make my work fit in. And I think that's okay because I think it's going to ultimately attract the people that are interested in that. And again, like just looking at your work, like I'd much rather see like a slideshow with a trendy song of like these series. If you want to take video at some point while you're on set of like the liquid dripping and having that nice in slow motion, absolutely. But like you have a lot of stuff to work with here. Like pick a day where you call it like Boozy Thursday or Happy Hour Friday, and then just post all your liquor posts in a way that makes sense. You have a little taste and thought behind it, of course, but you know, like that could help to start figuring out how you can better promote or market yourself, right? Because you're saying what you're showing online now on, I'm guessing Instagram, gives people the impression that you're like a social media manager or something. I don't know. So that kind of just tells me that like, okay, maybe you can alter or tweak some things because listen, I get it. Social media is a thing. Perhaps like having a bunch of pictures of chicken isn't the best way to show your work off now. Can we, yes, acknowledge that like they want more video content, but can we make something that works for both the platform and what you are ultimately trying to get, which is either more clients or more people interested, whatever it may be. Very much how you pitch work, right? This idea of telling a story. Whenever you make a post, can you tell a story? Like, here's all the things I ate for breakfast this year. Everything that you photograph that falls into breakfast is in that video. You know, you can go all over the place with this. Like, you can make a post that just says, like, I can't start my day without coffee. And then all the photos of coffee.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you're right. I do have a whole bunch of content that I haven't been too sure how to post. So that makes sense.
Any other questions or anything like that you want to go over?
Just by looking at my website and the way you've gone through that initial page, do you feel like there's a disconnect between the images, or it just makes sense to add on the images the way they've been added on? Like I don't need to keep them to a certain theme. I don't need to break them down.
I think
just keeping them as a general.
This is kind of how I think being a photographer works. You need something to show people that you know how to capture images. You need to understand, like, you need something to show people that you understand lighting, you understand color theory, you understand contrast, you understand what's going to look good. You have that now. I think the thing that we kind of tapped on a bit that is more important now is building those relationships and networking. If they start to ask you questions about like, hey, where's this on your portfolio? Or do you have a series of this or one series? Like that will give you signal if you need to go back and revise a bit. But I think now, like, step away and go work on the other things that are going to get you to the next level.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I think that was the main one.
Awesome.
That was the main question.
That's it for this portfolio review. I hope you found it helpful. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments below. If you'd like to have your portfolio reviewed just like this, then make sure you check out the link in the description. And if you're a student, designer, photographer, illustrator, professional, or anyone that has a portfolio website, then definitely consider subscribing to my channel as I do portfolio reviews just like this to help you attract more clients and present your best self. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.